Books are one of the most timeless inventions known to man. Next to fire, water, and even the air around us, books elevate us to a whole nother level that has changed perspectives throughout the years. As someone who reads and writes plenty of books, I've learned throughout my whole course of this year that not only you can improve your life through the process of just reading and writing more, but you can also shape everything around you through words alone. Hello, I'm Arnel Arcega. I'm one of the healthiest authors you will ever meet on this platform, and in this video I'm going to talk about my experience in the past month of August of 2025 on not only how books changed my life, but also rewired my brain to think more effectively, concise, and more considerate of everything around me. If you want help in your own personal writing projects, check out my Instagram down below along with the books that follow. Let's get into the process of just understanding books in general. I always preach about books and how they will impact you on this channel. I teach it well and effectively to make sure people understand that books not only have a strong way of messaging people on the greater path, but it can also elevate you to that higher area you want in life. Admit it, you want something in this current state of mind. What do you want? Do you want money? Do you want the gains? Do you want friends? Do you want any kind of desire, any kind of passion, even if it's just to write your own book? These passions and what we want help us desire what we need in books and how the process works. For a while, I recently got back to my old journal. I have not touched this thing since last year, and only now I started actively journaling once again. It's been a bad process of mine to stay focused when journaling, but I also understand that books have a way of shaping our minds, and journaling is with it. Journaling in itself allows us to think more critically of things, and this is the easy part when we're thinking about books and how it can change our life. For this video, I'm going to split this section between the process of writing books and also reading books. So I'm going to explain both well and thoroughly with this section. Journaling falls in line with the writing part. When we want to consider writing our own stuff, aka writing our own stories, our own novels, and even just writing a whole nother book, we need to think about the core. You yourself, the foundation, the roots. How can we develop ourselves to get to a plane in which we want to make our own story? I've spent the past few years of my life writing my own books, and with that in mind, I also illustrated that there's something greater when we think about stories. It's not about you yourself, it's about the story you want to tell, the story you're going to sell and profit off of. This is important, especially when we want to rewire our brain. For the past month of August, I've started writing my third project, and I've been working consistently hard to get to the point now I'm about a third of the way done. It's great to know that I made this much progress within the span of 31 days, but I know that to get to that point, you need to have the easy part, and this is where journaling comes in. Journaling is the easy part in the fact that it not only allows you to think more ideas right on the spot, but it also allows you to be more creative and more insinuated in the projects you're making. No matter what type of writing you're going to do, whether it's writing your own script for similar videos like this, or just writing your own story, by elevating yourself onto the point where you can journal well and free, then you will have the will to start writing your story. Let's get into reading books then. The easy part to reading books, for instance, Talk to Me, which is a book I've been reading in the past few weeks, is just to start the book. You don't even have to have money for this. Start with a book you haven't read. Either a book you haven't read or a book you haven't touched in years. Start with a book that can not only change your mind on how you can think more properly, but also see more critically of everything around us. Even if you don't have a book, you can check out my books in the top link of the description, and you can see the process of just manually evolving with reading. Both of these, when considering how well we can look into the art of literature, takes on a whole different toll when we know that writing and reading have two different purposes. Writing allows us to be more critical, to be more considerate of everything we see, while reading allows us to be more factual. It allows us to be more understanding and empathetic. That's why I love reading so much. And in the past month of August, I've spent so much time reading books to the point where I got in 3 books fully finished in the span of August. Not just one like I usually do, but 3. And it's an amazing process to get down all by doing the simple and easy part. For reading, it's opening the pages and starting on that first page, into the second, into the third, and just continue that habit each and every day. The next part I want to illustrate when talking about reading and writing is the process of replacing the habits. You said at the start of this video, you have a passion you want. Whether you said it directly to me, to the camera, or you thought about it in your mind. When we think about these passions and what we want to achieve in our life, we know that there's plenty of things we have to get over, and one of those is the habits. We all have bad habits. We scroll too much. We watch inappropriate content. And even if you don't do any of those, you still slack in a few areas like eating well, exercising, and even sleep. Sleep is one that I've personally struggled with, and I'm still getting to the point now where I need to be more disciplined of my sleep schedule. I used to be able to go to bed before 9, but recently I've been going up to bed from 10 to 11 and even 12 simply because I want to read and write more. And this is the downside to having these own passions. When you have one area you want to focus on, other areas tend to slack. But it is important to know that the healthier habits, aka reading and writing, need to be part of your life as a manner to not only shape the way you think, but improve it on the better. I'm telling these habits not as a way to just get it done and get it right. It's all about improving your own life, which is what I want to illustrate with these videos. I'm using the platform of books and reading to not only think more effectively about how you live, but to also make sure you stay on this right path. Let's start with writing. We can improve our own writing by the fact that we replace it with scrolling. I've been using this especially towards nighttime to build on the goals I want. It sets up the goals I need, and even if I'm going to figure out somewhere to start, whether it's a novel or a book, you can see exactly the thought process you're getting down by writing the goals, what you did that day, and what you're grateful for. I've done this process for a few years now, and I'm telling you, this process of journaling helped me write my first book in a way that nothing else did. If you want to start writing your own novel, or if you want to start writing just some kind of book, then you need to start with something small enough where you can begin writing. And this is where journaling effectively taught me that it will make me more considerate and more thoughtful of my book, but it gives me ideas to throw left and right. No matter if you don't know where to begin, this will allow you to start writing. For books, it's a different process. We need to think of how well we can implement this into our lives without overtaking what we see. In the case of just making more and making more of something you want, I understand that books have a process that needs to be solved. It's a long process of just looking at words and coming up with the images in our head. As a whole, I do believe books have this firm grasp on us, which not only will make more thoughtful of everything in our space, but we can use it in our day-to-day life, whether it's going out for a walk outside or reading at night. For me personally, I'd say reading works best both in the night and afternoon fashions. I don't read much in the morning since I use that time to write my book and record these videos. But I use books to help make sure my advice is well effective and I can tell it in a manner that will shape you, the audience. When we replace these habits, we can allow ourselves to think more well and better. We replace them with reading books. We replace them with writing journals and even writing our own books. By then, we can start using that to shape our lives so that we can do all the healthier habits. The final thing I want you to think about, especially with the process of both reading and writing, is the night and morning technique. This is one where I honestly say if you're struggling to understand any other thought in this video, this is the one that matters the most. The night and morning routine is an evolution to the idea of nurturing your nature. Your advancement as a reader and writer comes in the fact that you have tens of thousands of ideas spewing in your mind. No matter if it's just reading a book or journaling it down, you have all the pieces right there on your phone or even in your eyes. You can use that information then to illustrate something well effective through the process of time. In my previous video, I talked about time is after us and how that we think about time in a loose cannon kind of way. However, we can change our time and fix our routine by balancing it out on what works and what doesn't. This is where the morning and night technique come in. In the past month of August, all 31 days, I've learned the one key trick to reading and writing. Every single day, you need to read and you need to write. Just read and write something. You don't want to say it as an excuse because you're scrolling or because you're just letting things out into the open. What I mean is, for morning and nights, this is the single most important part of your day. And if you screw this up, the following days and the days after will just be a worse experience for you. If you want the knowledge of more information, whether it's reading my own books in the top link of the description, or just reading a book of any kind of variety, your mind needs to shape to elevate that said book. That will allow you to think more critically of everything around us. I've been using Talk to Me as a great example of a book I've been reading recently. I've been using all these books here to be books I've read in the past year alone. In the case of morning and nights, I read simply because it allows my mind to get a better pulse. Our minds are a lot like batteries. We think of batteries in the fact that it's fully gauged and fully charged. Morning and nights are simply that. You charge your device at night so you could have the battery for it in the morning. What would happen then if you start scrolling? What would happen then if you watch inappropriate content or even just do bad habits like eating late at night or not getting sleep? This is important, especially in the process of reading and writing, in the fact that when we think of how well we want to improve our lives, this importance, the morning and night habit we do every single day, will shape how well we read. It will shape how many books we get done, and it will shape how much information we write down. I'm telling you, when we think of the morning and night, we need to think less of just the sun rising and the sun setting, but rather, what can you do in the process of getting more? What can you do to read more books or journal more ideas? Once you understand that, your writing will be shaped forever. Your mind will be rewired, and in that process, you will think less of scrolling to look at more brain rot. Instead, you're going to think more critically of everything around you so that you can be a more conductive person in society. You'll smile more often, you'll be more helpful, and it will change your life forever. I hope you can enjoy today's message and use this information for your will. I know I'm not the best at giving advice in certain areas, but I do know I can elevate you to be a better person. I am someone who is willing to help, and I've been working on this path for years. If you want to check out my Instagram so I can personally help you, then I'm telling you, follow that Instagram down below. Along with my other socials, you can see exactly what I mean to improve your life through the process of just reading and writing. Until next time, keep on reading, keep on writing, and take care.